There we go. We did it. Hey, how's everyone doing? Because I'm extra, I have two computers because I realized today that I forgot an actual pen and paper to do notes. So this is how we're doing this. Bear with me. It's the last session of the day. You guys are all probably very tired. So bear with me. But you know what? I think we're going to have a little fun. This is less of a talk and more of a game. So hopefully we have a little bit of fun. But yeah, just so everyone knows, well, first of all, give a round of applause to all the speakers because they've done a great job today. It's been awesome. Looks like a fair bit of you are still in the crowd. This is it's a little bright light, so I can't actually see who's in the crowd. Anyway, my name is Chance. As you all just heard, I work at WorkOS. Raise your hand if you've heard of or used Radix UI. That's pretty cool. So like, I helped build that library and currently sort of maintain it. I say sort of because, you know, if you are in the GitHub at all, you've probably seen me tell you I'm not going to merge your PR. But it's very rewarding to see something like that take off. And really, yeah, if anybody wants to come chat about that at some point, I'm happy to do that. But it's a project I'm very proud of. So I help maintain that at WorkOS, and you can find me on the blue sky at that handle right there. So without further ado, we are going to play a little game. Originally, I had titled this game, Are You Smarter Than a React Component? But I don't know how many people actually ever watched the reference there, so I just decided to do something a little bit more popular, and we're going to play the Wheel of Misfortune. And I called it the Wheel of Misfortune because if you are misfortunate enough to be up here, you have to solve a coding challenge live in front of all of you. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to close out all this code, and we're going to start. So we've got a few volunteers who are going to join us up on stage. And sort of the idea behind this is each item on the wheel here is going to represent challenges that our contestants will need to solve using only core React APIs. No libraries, no third-party libraries. And also, they must work within a single React component. And then once all the contestants are finished, we are going to review their work and see if we can make any improvements. So, you guys ready? Let's go. Who is our first contestant? Dave Kiss. Can I get Dave up on stage? Everyone give Dave a round of applause. Let's go. All right, so, Dave, we're going to spin the wheel.
I was looking for my Bob Barker moment, like, let's go.
I just realized Dave didn't get a mic, so if we're recording this, I'm sorry to whoever has to watch the video who won't be able to hear Dave, but for everyone else in the crowd, I think Dave's pretty good at projecting, so I think we're going to do...
Yeah, I can be loud.
He's going to be loud. So what do we got? We've got page metadata. All right, so this is a fun one. So I'm going to open up your challenge here. We are going to... yeah, there we go. Make sure everything's okay. Everything's okay? Cool. Great. All right, so here's your challenge. So what we need to do here is we need to turn my mic back on, maybe? Anybody? Hello? Hello? Check. Hey, hello. Dave's on. Everybody hear Dave. Well, that's important. I'm going to just yell and... hello. So what Dave's going to do, hey, Dave is going to take a reaction. Hello. And he is going to... so this component... Oh, this is amazing. He's going to inject some page metadata into your blog post using only the React component. This is pretty straightforward generally, but remember, he can't use any libraries. He can't leave this component. So, Dave, let's see what you got.
Yeah, this is straightforward for a smart developer, not so straightforward for me. I'll immediately reach for a third-party library. There was one at least back in the day, although when I used more than React, like 16, 17 area called React Helmet, y'all know React Helmet, NFL library. Yeah. Hello, check. Yeah, React Helmet is kind of what I would reach to, but you threw that, wow. I mean, you threw me under the bus with not being able to go right for that library there. So what I do, this is probably like a side effect situation, right? Where I have to introduce like a, I don't know if I can write. And,
here you go.
There we go. Introduce.
We're very prepared, as you can see.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is, you could tell here. You know, some kind of use effect here where we got to reach right into the DOM and make some change. Look, it's already ready. I don't even have to do this.
Oh, we're going to turn Copilot off. I forgot we're cheating.
Oh.
Hold on.
How's that?
Hold on. No Copilot. Get out of here, AI.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
We don't need robots writing our
We're
code.
professionals here. Okay, so look, we got.
Should I make
we
him
got a-
delete that? I don't think
I'll
that's
delete it.
legal.
I'll
No, it's
delete
okay.
it. No, we're good. We got a post coming in. The post got some kind of, I'm guessing a title. Oh yeah, we see it down here. Title, we got some content on there. And we need to update what are we trying to do? We're getting into the title and the meta tag here. So I have to select those, right? We're all used to this probably accessing directly in the DOM, the document, query, selector.
Should have turned off autocomplete too.
title.
I'm just making this way too easy.
Look, everybody uses autocomplete and AI these days. Let's go.
It's like a coding interview. We should have just
Title
done it on a whiteboard.
equals, we got the title, and I'm gonna update it. Maybe it's, title, inner HTML equals post.title. And now we got a title. That should be updated, yeah? Does that look, did I break anything?
You're the one that's got to solve the problem, not me, buddy.
Well, it doesn't have to run, does it?
No, it doesn't have to run.
No, we're good. That's
Yeah,
fine.
sure. It works, right?
What else do we need to update here? What do you need from me?
The meta description.
Oh, the meta description.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got, let's select the const description equals document meta. Oh, this is the pressure's on. As a meta tag, am I allowed to poll the audience, or what's the
What do you think he needs to query here, audience?
name
There you go.
equals, whoops, here we go, let's go, name equals description,
Looks good.
and description, update that doggy, description.
That's probably right.
It's
Yeah.
one of those APIs.
Yeah. It's we'll give it to him.
Yeah. So that would be my solution, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. What happens
then
if the
we wanna
post
make
changes?
Sure that, yeah, we
there
got
we
the
go.
post in here. So if that changes, and then we got to make sure that if it changes, it also needs to update it.
Yeah. What if this component just goes away completely?
Component goes
We still have this lingering
Okay,
title
so we
problem,
have
right?
Let's return one of these. And then, yeah, well, we would need to reset the title.
I think it's
So this
sweating a
is
little bit.
I'm
This is-
actually sweating. I don't know
right.
if it's the lights. You're right, but
think it's the
original title. Something. Let's go. Get the title again. Document. Do we do it again? Document.
Yeah, we'll just say you know what you're doing.
You know,
and we can,
title,
he's going to clean up after
set
himself
it
in the cleanup
to
function. He's
the
going to reset to the
OG.
original.
Come on.
And there's no edge cases here, probably, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
This is very, it's validating. It
Sure.
seems like it would just compile if you were to ask me.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think update that thingy is. I think we're good. No runtime issues detected.
Yeah, okay.
All right, everyone, give Dave a round of applause. Thank you, Dave. Awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few more different challenges, and then we're actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and look at his solution here. So, what could we do better? Anyone have any ideas?
Are you using React 19?
That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked because we're using React 19, and we are going to rely on some React 19 new APIs and new features to do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get rid of all that because nobody likes use effect anyway, right? And I'm just going to drop in my meta and my title right here, and hey, I'm done. We're done. And you might be looking at this and thinking like, well, that doesn't make any sense. This is going to render a tag in the blog post. You would be correct if you were not using React 19, but React 19 automatically will hoist your meta tags and your title tags to the head of the document. It's smart. It knows how to organize things. It knows which tags to override and update when the component mounts and unmounts. So it's pretty much all you have to do. Pretty cool. Who here loves deleting use effects as much as I do? Yeah. All right. So that was fun. Great job, Dave. You are unfortunately not smarter than a React component, which would have made sense had I kept the original title of this game, Are You Smarter Than a React Component? Nonetheless, we're going to move on. All right, next contestant, Mike Hartington. Everybody give Mike a big round of applause. Let's go. How you doing, Mike?
Well, my voice is shot.
All right, well, good thing you have a working microphone. Let's hope
Yeah.
that stays. We've had good luck with that so far today. All right, we're going to spin the wheel. How you feeling?
Not good.
Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, I've known Mike for a while. He's a great dude. He's worked on a couple of really awesome projects. Anybody used Ionic before? This guy right here. So smart dude. But I have to give something away. React was not his primary framework, so we're going to really test his strengths here. So let's go ahead and give the wheel a spin and see what you're going to be building today.
What if it lands on bankrupt? What happens?
I don't know. I haven't tested that yet.
I will give you all the money in my wallet.
I'm actually. Can we get sound through the computer? Is that an option? I'm curious. Maybe I just had it muted. I don't know. There's a really cool sound effect here. I'm really sad I can't fix it. Just pretend you can hear the wheel spinning. All right, so we've got event listeners. So your job is to, all right, so here's the challenge right here. So event listeners in React, as you all probably know, generally pretty straightforward. If you've got a button or something and you want to attach a click handler, React makes that pretty simple because you have an on-click prop that just sort of handles that. But if you've ever encountered a situation where React DOM doesn't have a mapping from the event that you want to the actual React DOM events, then you can't just pass a prop. It doesn't work because React DOM doesn't know what to do with that prop. And that happens often if you've got newer APIs, and React just hasn't caught up with those APIs yet. So one such API is dialog. If you've ever worked with a native HTML dialog, has this event called before toggle. And I think this actually changed recently, but it's a new event, and React DOM for a while didn't have the bindings for this. So what we're going to do is we need to attach the event handler directly to the DOM element without any of React's props. And again, no libraries. You have to do it right here in the component. So let's see what you got.
I will say, this wouldn't be an issue if we were using Angular. I'm just going to say it. All right, so.
Should we let him continue, or should we kick him off stage?
Okay, so I'm going to assume we're going to use a React.use effect.
All right, well, here we go again.
No one really wants to use it, but you kind of have to. All right. Yeah, pressure is real.
All the Vim users in here are like,
Oh,
what
I'm
are you people
out
doing?
Of my elements.
What are you people doing?
Okay, so we're going to need a ref, and we're getting up here as a prop. So we're going to create, let's just say let handle. Yeah, I'm going to use a let. Don't judge me. And we're going to say dialog ref add dot
Wait.
current.
There you go.
Add event. What the hell?
We're not using TypeScript, so he has no help on that front.
My keyboard's not split.
So we're adding an event listener.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And what's the event called?
Before toggle.
Before.
And if you don't know, this, as you might imagine, calls, or it is fired before you toggle the state of a dialog. So the idea here is that when you open the dialog, it's going to call this function that's going to do some tracking for us, but it's going to do that before you actually toggle the dialog.
Cool. And then we have this function up here called onBeforeToggle. Toggle. We're just going to pass that in. Oh, copy paste. You don't want to work. Why did you give me the worst keyboard?
It's called a Macintosh.
I said what I said. All right, so we got our handle, and then we're going to be smart and good developers. We're going to clean this up. And we're just going to say dialog. Oh, no. What is your
You try to use
setup?
shortcuts. It's just, we're really just throwing a lot of curveballs here. I'm going to go ahead and say I know what you're probably going to do here is you're going to try and clean up this event listener, right?
Yeah,
we're going
to copy this.
That's okay. Yeah, you don't have to get the, we had an update thingy up here before, so I think we're good, right?
Okay, so pseudocode.
Yeah, so he's going to clean up the event listener, and I think we're good.
Yeah.
Right? All right, cool.
Am I good?
You're good enough.
Okay.
Everybody give Mike a round of applause. Thank you, Mike. All right, so we're going to ignore what I'm sure a lot of you are itching to scream out and just do my favorite thing in the world and just delete this because we don't need it anymore. We're using React 19. What's really cool, amongst many things that are cool in React 19, is that a ref callback function, if you don't know, you can pass a ref object or you can pass a function into your ref prop. And in here, you're going to get the element that references this dialog. and we can go ahead and assign our dialog ref.current directly to this element. And you can just add an event listener straight away in here. And you might be thinking, well, this was a thing in React 18 and React 17 and maybe 16. I don't know, it's been forever. But you can just add your event listener. And you could have theoretically done this before, but what's cool in React 19, and the reason you wouldn't normally do it this way, is you can't really clean up at this point, right? You can't do that in a ref. So we're going to say before toggle, and we're going to say handle before toggle. Is that what we called it? I don't remember. No, we just called it on before toggle. And yeah, we're just going to add the event listener directly in our callback ref. But in React 19, you can actually return a cleanup function from your ref callbacks. And so I can just go ahead and remove this right there in my ref. Pretty cool. And yeah, we got rid of another use effect. Who likes them? Awesome. What's next? You can hear that? Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot to actually say who's next. Adam Rakis is next. Let's go, Adam. Can't spin the wheel without a contestant. All right, so we got optimistic updates, I think. I think my wheel's a little off. Yeah, CSS is, needs a little bit of work. Oh, wait, did we spin the wheel? Oh, no. Bankrupt, like your tweets.
No. Morally bankrupt.
All right, let's spin. Should we give him another chance, or should we take all of his money? All right, let's give him another chance. I'm glad we got audio working. This is a lot more fun. Optimistic updates. All right, and I think that's what we're on. I can't tell if my little marker is off. It's all CSS, so you know how the web is. We're going to go with optimistic updates. Cool. So let's open up your challenge here. So that's not it. This is it. All right, so we've got, this one's a fun one because optimistic updates, if you ever had to implement them, is particularly annoying. So we've got this to-do list, because who doesn't love a to-do list? And we have this mutation that we get back. And we need to perform a mutation on our to-do list, and presumably when we do this, it's going to trigger some sort of update. It's going to be asynchronous. It's going to happen probably under, it's going to trigger a fetch somewhere in the back end, and then it's going to update the to-dos, and magically we're just going to see the new to-dos. The problem is when you have like this checkbox kind of UI, you check a to-do, you uncheck a to-do, you kind of want that to be a little bit more responsive, and you don't want it to have to wait on a network request and all of that. So what we want to do is kind of anticipate the next state, which with a checkbox, pretty straightforward to do that because there's only two states, right? So we want to optimistically update this so that the user sees immediate feedback before the whole server action is done. So with that said, take it away, Adam.
All right.
Who thinks he can do this in like 5 minutes?
First of all, the thing Mike had that took his voice, that's not contagious, right? Yeah. All right, good. Let's rename this for now. We'll call it like to-dos original, something like that. And then I am thinking we can do something like const to-dos equals use memo. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Shit. Fuck.
I don't think you're allowed to say that, buddy. We'll bleep that out for the listeners at home. I think even Ken didn't curse up here, so that's it's pretty miraculous.
I am just degenerate. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, I got you. We'll seed it with the original to-dos, and then we'll have something like function update locally, and then we'll say set to-dos. And now I need some details on how we're updating this, and then we're going to call this from the place where the mutation happens. So I assume we can do like a dot then probably, and we'll just assume that it worked because why not? And then we'll call update locally, and we'll do some crap. And I think this is the part where we just assume it works, and then you show us the cool React 19 API that does it for us.
I'm a little confused because you still have to wait for this guy to resolve. Where's the?
Well, that's the then, right?
Yeah.
It's a promise.
Yeah, you have to wait for that to resolve, right?
Yeah.
What happens in the meantime? Because you want that checkbox to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole challenge.
Of course. it sucks being on the spot like this, huh?
I know.
So then we would just call it right here.
I don't think he's getting the job.
Yeah, I'm getting passed over for this one. Update. Say what? I'm in an object. That's what it's. Oh, right. So we'll do here, and then we'll have the old to-dos, splat them, and then add the other one. Man, just
Should have
take
set a
over.
timer on this.
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead. Show us the cool way.
Okay, all right. Well, everyone give him a round of applause. The poor guy tried. He tried his hardest, but ultimately, yeah, it's I don't actually, I feel kind of bad because this was actually a pretty tough one. So optimistic updates are annoying. So we're going to get rid of all of his code because it doesn't work. And we're going to do something a little different. So everybody know what I'm going for? Any React 19 people know what we're about to do? Use optimistic. That's right. So React 19 has this really cool API that is called Use Optimistic that is, as you might imagine, exactly what this kind of thing is for. Did we lose our mutation? No, it's just down here. Cool. So Use Optimistic is modeled after Use Reducer. And so what it's going to take is it's going to take a state. And so any sort of data, really. So it's going to take to-dos, because to-dos is kind of like that's the actual state. And it's going to take a reducer function. And it's going to have, just like any normal reducer, the last state, so our to-dos as they exist at the current moment, and we're going to say an action. And in this particular case, our action is going to be a to-do. And so what this is going to do is it's basically going to run the reducer, and you now can wire up how you want to resolve the state before it actually completes. And what you return is going to be the optimistic state. So we are going to return an array, because that's what our to-dos are, and we are going to say, like to-dos, our previous state, say splice, I think that's right. Oh, did I turn off Copilot? Dang. We're going to say to-dos dot index of, I think, right? That's a thing. To-do, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Oh, man, I don't even have types. This is rough. Okay, I'm live.
Hard, huh?
Right? Okay, so, and now what we're going to do, we're going to place our new to-do, the optimistic to-do. This is going to be to-do, but we're going to say completed. It's just a toggle state, right? So it's just going to be the opposite of whatever our current state is, right? But this is an object, so. We do have prettier, that's cool. I do have some tools. And then we're going to take, rest of the to-dos, because I'm not good at splicing arrays here. But the idea is pretty straightforward. So now we have, what we get back from this is, if you're familiar with use reducers, we have our optimistic to-dos, and we have update. And the update function, you're going to call that at the same time that you update, or that you start mutating your to-dos. And so we're just going to call update. We're going to pass it in the to-do. And that's it. And so when this to-dos object starts to change, or when it finally changes, it's going to recognize that it has a new object, and now we're going to use the real to-dos instead of our optimistic to-dos. And then all we need to do from there is just map through those optimistic ones, and now we're done. Pretty cool. I really love this API. It's going to be a little trickier than that in a production app, but I think this gets us 90% of the way there. And it's way better than what we would have had to do before. All right, let's go to our next contestant. Who we got up? David K. Piano. Everybody give David a round of applause. And yes, Piano is his real last name.
No.
It is. Don't listen to him. All right, so let's spin the wheel and see what David's going to be working on today.
Oh, God.
What time have we got? How are we doing on time? Cool. There's nobody after us. We can go forever, right? Nobody here wants to leave. Data fetching. Everyone loves data fetching.
Love it.
Remember, no libraries now, Mr. X State.
Oh, man.
All right, let's see data fetching. What do we got here? Cool. So we've got this component that is going to fetch some stuff. I heard you sigh. What's going on here?
No.
There's nothing wrong with this code?
No.
Okay,
Not at all.
cool. Nothing wrong with this code at all. So we've got some, we got this Pokemon, and we need to fetch some data related to the Pokemon. we have the Pokemon ID, but we don't have all of its relevant data. So how are we going to do that?
All right. Wanna hold this? Okay, cool. So we see three use states. You know, fun fact, Chance and I used to teach together at React Training, and I really expected better from him. So, all
Sorry, I
right.
fell back in my old ways.
Yeah. All right, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Let's see. You're not using any of this. Let's delete these. I'm only going to use one, all right?
I should have said you're not allowed to delete my code
Wait.
because it's perfect. No, you're good. I didn't say
All right,
that, so,
fine.
you know,
You know, we're going to do a status
it's my fault. Okay.
loading, okay? We're going to do that, and I'm going to show you why in a minute, but we have, whatever, let's just call it state, set state, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to use a use effect.
Ah, everyone loves it.
Hate it. No
Always fetch in a use effect. That's what I've been told.
No idea what goes in there. And then right now, it's sort of like muscle memory because you know that we're going to have like a let is canceled, dumbest Boolean in the world, so false. So we have that, and then we are going to fetch. So fetch Pokemon stats. We're going to pass in the, which one, Pokemon.id. Oh wait, why is this all the way down there?
You wrote it.
No, you wrote it. All right, there we go. So,
write that?
Pokemon ID, and then we're going to go old school and do .then, and then we have our data. So, that data we're going to set state, have a status of, I don't know, success, and pass in our data. But that could also fail. You have to keep that in mind too. So we are going to catch the error, and then set state, status error, and then just put the error there. Pokemon ID.
Didn't even forget the
Yep.
dependencies.
And
I think
then
you're the,
you
might be getting the job.
So if is canceled.
oh, there we go.
Return.
It's one of our favorite things to teach in React training, actually.
And then after that, you take a long hot shower, and yeah.
All right, everybody give David a round of applause. All right, so what could we do a little differently here? Well, we're going to delete all of David's code, as we have gotten used to doing. And we're going to think about this a little differently. So right now, this is all happening on the client. But what if we could just move this to the server? What if all of our data fetching could happen in the server? But you ask yourself, but wait, wasn't one of the rules that everything has to be in the component? Well, it is. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I can't return a promise from a React component. Well, you can in React 19 if you are using a framework that supports React Server components. We can call this right on the component, and we can just start fetching right away. We don't need state. We don't need any of this stuff. We do need our Pokemon ID still. So let's get rid of that. And let's just say we got some data, and I'm going to say we have our data null. I'm going to go back. I just think it's better to have like different Booleans to represent all of our state. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't need loading because this is calling on the server. The user is never going to see it, so we can just say error is null. And then we can just fetch. We can say await, or actually we can just say data is the result of fetch Pokemon stats. And we're going to say Pokemon ID. We probably want to try catch this so that we can actually handle our errors. That seems good enough. Whoops, wrong one. And then say error is equal to. We're not going to worry about our actual error because we're developers and users don't care, right? Cool. And now we can call this function directly on the server, and we're pretty much done. We can get rid of that loading state because the user is never going to see it anyway. Yeah, we don't have to use effects anymore. So you're welcome, David. We get to delete a use effect and revert back to Boolean states. Cool. React 19 is pretty awesome. We can do a lot of fun stuff. There's a couple other things that I want to show you. Like that's our last contestant for today, but a couple other things that I really like in React 19 that we can talk about really quickly. Another one is form state. So if you're not familiar with the new use action state API, you can take you can also get rid of some use states if you're ever dealing with forms, which is kind of nice. And so in this particular case, we have a form that has a submit handler. We're taking the item ID from this. It looks like this is like an add to cart button. And we've got this item ID in a field, and we're going to handle this on submit. In React 19, we can get rid of all this, and we can call react.useActionState, and we can actually give it an action. And I really love that React 19 leaned into the use reducer thing and the reducer pattern in general, because reducers are highly underused and underrated in my opinion. But useActionState can take in, what does it actually take in? It takes in your action, your server action. So we're going to say add to cart action. This is where I get tricky because I don't actually remember a lot of the new APIs. So what is our initial state? Our initial state is going to be null, because here's what we're going to do. We need to, the state that we want in this case is we want to show the user that something is currently being added to the cart. And so what we're going to get back here is we're going to get the message. We are also going to get back a pending or a dispatcher, and we're going to get back, oops, I'm in the wrong place. And we're also going to, I think that's it. I think we just pass it a reducer. So we're going to get back our update, and we're going to get back and is adding a flag that says, hey, are we currently busy, right? So now we can use this flag to then render our message. Otherwise, actually, you know, we don't even need the is adding thing, because this is going to handle for us. The message is going to be based on whether or not we get anything back from this reducer. And so our initial message is null. That's our initial state here. And then we are going to say, actually, no, our reducer is here. So we need to implement our reducer. Our reducer in this case is going to be an async function. And as you might imagine, it takes our previous state, the previous message in this case, and it's going to take our action. And what is it going to return? It's going to return our new state, right? And so we can call add to cart. Just say wait, add to cart. First we need to get the ID, and that's going to come from some form data. Our form data is actually the action in this case. And so we can just say form data.get item ID. We can check, we can pretend we're going to validate. We're not going to validate because we just trust everything, right? We trust users. They would never lie to us. We're going to add this to our cart, and once that's done, we are going to return our new state. What happens if that fails? Well, we can just try catch this guy, and return something, another message for the user. And that's pretty much it. No, it's not. We have to take away our onSubmit here, and now in React 19, the action, which is normally a string that points to an actual endpoint that you would submit to, can take the actual add to cart action. Or nope, it's going to take, this is it, right? Form action? Ah, boom, good call. I was like, one of these is the actual form action. Yeah, so the middle argument is our action. And no more use states. Pretty awesome. Yeah, that's it for our game today. There were a few more options we didn't get to, but we're out of contestants, and I don't want to do any more, so I think we're good. Yeah, this was fun. React 19, pretty sweet. Thank you all for coming. Day 2 of React Miami tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you all bright and early in the morning. And yeah, go enjoy the after party.